Gravity explains the motions of the planets, but it cannot explain who sets the planets in motion. There is a fundamental difference between religion, which is based on authority, and science, which is based on observation and reason. Science will win because it works. Ignorance is hardly unusual. It's dapper. The longer I live, the more I come to realize that it is the natural state of the human mind. There are many who will strive to defend its sanctity, and then expect you to be impressed with their efforts. The most beautiful system of the sun, planets and comets, shoot and comets, shoot and stars. I wish the best from afar. Can only proceed from the council of and dominion of an intelligent and powerful being. This being governs all things, not as the soul of the world, but as Lord over all. And on account of his dominion, he is wont to be called Lord God, our universal ruler, forever rhymer, lives happily ever after, liveth forever. How came the bodies of animals to be contrived with so much art, and for what ends were their survival parts? Was the eye contrived without skill in optics, and the ear without knowledge of sounds? And these things being rightly dispatched, does it not appear from phenomena that there is a being incorporeal, living, intelligent, God about dominion, providence, and final causes is nothing else but fate, and nature blind metaphysical necessity, which is certainly the same always and elsewhere, everywhere, could produce an variety of things, all that diversity of natural things which we find suited to different times and places could arise from nothing but the ideas and will of a being necessarily existing. Be brave, be free from philosophies, prophets, and holy lies. Go deep into your feelings and explore the mystery of your body, mind, and soul. You'll find the truth. Finally, I would like to assure my many Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Jewish, and Muslim friends that I am sincerely happy that the religion which chance has given you has contributed to your peace of mind, and often as Western medical science now reluctantly admits to your physical well-being. Perhaps it is better to be insane. Perhaps it is better to be insane and happy than sane and unhappy. But it is the best of all to be sane and happy. However, our descendants can achieve that goal will be the greatest challenge of the future. Indeed, it may well decide whether we have any future. Science and truth are simple phenomenon of nature, but it is the known that is preventing us from mastering the unknown. To make science the arbiter of metaphysics is to banish not only God from the world, but also love, hate, meaning. The old prophets filled our imaginations with gods and commandments and holy scriptures, with glowing descriptions of life in heaven and among the stars. Because of them we are on our way there. Perhaps that has been their intention all along. If your science contradicts your religion, you've either got bad science or bad religion. I believe that the teaching of evolution and science is best served by promoting the scientific method and scientific knowledge, not by attacking religious views. The latter is a futile, counterproductive bait. However, I also believe, as many denominations have also concluded, that religion is better served by promoting and evolving its respective teachings and theologies, and not by attacking science, which is definitely a losing strategy. But while I certainly did not dispute the validity of its analytical principles, I was disturbed by the intellectual arrogance of a new science which tried to reduce all mysteries of man's self to a series of neurogenetic reactions. The philosophical conclusions arrived at by its founder and its devotees somehow appeared to me too cocksure and oversimplified to come anywhere within the neighborhood of ultimate truths. And they certainly did not point any new way to the good life, nor end in rhymes all day and all night in a darkened world no longer illuminated by the light of the center, God. Technical advances are secretly more than despairing attempts to make hell a more agreeable place to live in. This must be particularly emphasized against those who think that by spreading the civilization of science and technology, even to the uttermost ends of the earth. They can furnish all of the essential preconditions for a golden age. One cannot escape the devil so easily as that. Dare to contradict a scientist, not because of your scripture, but because of your own rational thinking. If to a person religion means reading books and obeying every single word from it without the slightest bit of reasoning, then such perception would only bring destruction upon the person and the world. And also, there are people who use the words from those books to justify their own filthy actions. Let's take a conservative Muslim, for example. Say a conservative Muslim male, Homo sapiens. I won't call such a creature a human regardless of the religion, since his act here shows no sign of humanity. Humility is found to be beating his wife. Now, if someone says to him, "This is wrong," he would naturally reply, "This is a divine thing to do. My book says so." Now, if a Christian says, "My book is older, so you should stop obeying your book and start obeying your mind," there will be the Buddhist and say, "My book is much older still, obey mine." Then will come the Jew and say, "My book is even older, so just follow mine." And in the end will come the Hindu and say, "My books are the oldest of all, obey them." Therefore, referring to books will only make a mess of the human race and tear the species into pieces. Tear the species into pieces. The self when infinite. The self when infinite is human, and when infinite is God. The self when infinite is human, and when infinite is God. Current research in any field of science has not yet reached the point where we could start exploring the existential questions regarding God as supreme entity, driving casualty into the universe. However, as modern neuroscience progresses further and gets more advanced, we shall get to dive deeper into the physiological process underneath the quality of God and the human mind. What we have seen so far through our studies in neurophysiology, is that it is not God himself or self itself, rather it is a people's perception of God that influences the human life. The quality of God impact all aspects of human life by altering the body chemistry at a cellular level, molecular cellular level. Real atheist is not the one that does not believe in an imaginary big monkey, but the one that gives the imagination more importance than the reality. I am no more fundamentalist when I say evolution is true than when I say it is true that New Zealand is in the southern hemisphere. We believe in evolution because the evidence supports it, and we would abandon it overnight if new evidence arose to disprove it. No real fundamentalist would ever say nothing about that, anything about that. I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. But all political and intellectual orders remain permanently distinct from the spiritual. They follow their own ends, they obey their own laws, and in doing so they support the cause of religion by the discovery of truth and the upholding of right. They render this service by fulfilling their own ends independently and unrestrictedly, not by surrendering them for the sake of spiritual interest. Whatever diverts government and science from their own spheres or leads religion to usurp their domains, confounds distinct authorities, and imperils not only political right and scientific truth, but also the cause of faith and morals of government that, for the interest of religion, disregards political right and a science that, for the sake of protecting faith, wavers and dissembles in the pursuit of knowledge. Our instruments is at least as well adapted to serve the cause of falsehood as to combat it, and never can't be used in furtherance of the truth without that of treachery to principle, which is a sacrifice too costly to be made for the service of any interest whatsoever. I never question the conviction of a scientist based on mere scriptures. I prefer ever and ever, stops rapping never, live forever. If you don't act now, the day is not far that this beautiful planet of yours, which you call home, shall be turned into a dry, barren wasteland by the blood-sucking fundamentalists. There has been more bloodshed in the name of God than for any other cause. And it is all because people never attempt to reach the fountainhead. They are content only to comply with the customs of their forefathers and want others to do the same. Good and evil are both within us. And when our primitive ancestors humanized these natural qualities of the mind, they got two completely opposite supernatural characters. One was the merciful Lord Almighty, and the other was the wicked devil, evil Knievel. A pathology can indeed evoke experiences of absolute godliness, but not all God experiences are caused by pathology. They can also occur due to disturbance in the geomagnetic field or a plant and consumption of psychedelics. Excruciatingly extreme level of stress during a near-death situation, or ultimately through a natural and healthy procedure of meditation or prayer. No matter what you say or write about the early chapters of Genesis, you are in a lot of trouble with a lot of people. As a citizen of the world, I will not confine myself within the gates of one nation or religion. I will not identify with only one species, sex, class, or race, for I am a complete being, and that means that I embrace all of humanity, all of nature, every star and universe. Then the greater universe is a part of me. If we were all created in the image of God, and His love is unconditional, then why can't we love all living things with the same eyes as God? How can anybody say that one race is more superior than another when we're all created in God's reflection? We're all created in God's reflection and image. The problem is not religion or God. The actual problem is authoritarianism, a mix with the desire to angrily impose one's personal, apparently idealistic belief on others. Any religion that cannot stand up to a modern scientific reasoning and to irrational proof is a sect nine. Quite surprisingly, the majority of religious and spiritual practices actually diminishes your brain ability to act out of rage or fear. Science is a lie in daylight with a lot of witnesses. Religion is the truth in darkness, without any need for such witness. Religion of the masses is absurd, but so is their science. The consequence not of a logical one, but a moral one, the one which refuses any divine intervention, is the problem really for just the hypothetical logician. I'm a great magician of rhymes. You see, towards God I would rather be grateful for heaven, which they do not deserve, than angry about hell, which they do deserve. By this, the logician then must choose either atheism or theism, but he cannot possibly, through a good reason, choose anti-theism. For his friend, in this case, is not at all mathematical law. The law in that this equation, this path will consequently direct me to a specific point over the alternative, and the one he denies. God will set me wherever and do it strictly for his own suffering amusement. The consequence model, the former seeks the absence of God, which orders he cannot save one from one's inevitable consequences. What a coincidence, has the angry antithesis within the logical one, the one who wants to be master of his own fate. I want to be master of my own fate. Can only contradict himself. I do not think it wise to be angry at math, raps, science fiction. Science fiction invites the writer to grandly explore alternative worlds and pose questions about meaning and destiny, and that implausible new realities is what the genre is all about. One starts with from a hypothesis and then builds out the logic, adding detail and incident to give substance to imaginary structures. In that respect, science fiction and theology have much more in common. A culture based on superstitions will do worse than one based on scientific knowledge and rational thoughts. Priesthood, imamhood, pundithood often come hand in hand with tyranny. Abba gave the nation an important mystical component in his work. He transferred the nation to the nation. We are the youth of the nation. We are the youth of the nation. The divine qualities he had found in society replacing the belief in God with the belief in nation. And so nationalism became a religion. The national is divided, thus expanding Durkheim's idea that society can do as it pleases. So if a nation perceives itself in danger, it feels no moral responsibility in its response to that danger. The unionist scientific approach gained a sacred character through a capital race. I love the theologians. They know God cannot speak, so they spend their energy trying to explain to us what his silence means. Well, I hope you know. Well, there I go, spitting notes into my phone. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, there I go. There's a third level of religious experience, even if it is a seldom found in a pure form. I'll call it the cosmic religious sense. This is hard to make clear to those who do not experience it, since it does not involve anthropomorphic idea of God. The individual feels the vanity of human desires and aims, and the nobility and marvelous order which are revealed in nature and in the world of fall. He feels the individual destiny as an imprisonment and seeks to experience the totality the totality of existence as a unity full of significance. Indications of this cosmic religious sense can be found even on earlier levels of development. For example, in Psalms of David and the prophets, the cosmic element is much stronger in Buddhism, as in particular magnificent essays have shown us. Religious geniuses of all times have been distinguished by the cosmic religious sense, which recognizes neither dogmas nor God made in man's image. Consequently, there cannot be a church whose chief doctrines are based on the cosmic religious experience. It comes about, therefore, that we find precisely among the heretics of all ages men who were inspired by this highest religious experience. Often they appear to do their contemporaries as atheists, but sometimes also as saints. Primitive religions are based entirely on fear. Feeling and longing are the motive force behind all human endeavor and human creation. The development from a religion of fear to moral religion is a great step in people's lives. For while religion prescribes brotherly love and relations among the individuals and groups, the actual spectacle more resembles a battlefield than an orchestra. Everywhere in economic as well as in political life, the guiding principle is one of ruthless striving for success at the expense of one's fellow men. Rapping again, up spit and never ending spitting facts of science and religion and a trance, I said off the top of my head. Like a rainbow in the dark, the demons begin to start.